Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of CamLogic's Tech Tuesday. My name is Josh Ponzetti and I'm an application engineer here at CamLogic. Tech Tuesday is our free 30-minute tips and tricks webinar. Today's topic is what's new in ST6, so this is a very exciting addition to our Tech Tuesday lineup for Solid Edge. We're gonna focus and show you today some of the new things that are coming out with the new version of Solid Edge. It's set to release here this month, and let's give you a little bit of a look into what we can expect and what's going to be available for you to take advantage of. So, like I said, a very exciting edition of Tech Tuesday. But before we jump into that, let's take a minute just to familiarize everyone with CamLogic. CamLogic has been in the CAD, CAM, and CAE space for over 35 years. The company was established 16 years ago, initially focused on CAM, and it was mainly servicing the tool and die shops in the area. As the market evolved, CamLogic had to evolve, and they did. Interestingly enough, they were working their way backward from the CAM or the manufacturing portion back to the idea or conceptual design process. Because we started toward the end of the process and worked our way to the beginning, CamLogic has the fundamental knowledge of what has to be done to assure that each step of the process will result in a product that will actually work or fit into the next phase of development. CamLogic has chosen to represent software and tools that enable our customers to fulfill the full life cycle of product development. We consider ourselves integrators and partners for the customers, not just resellers. Here at CamLogic, we employ a three-legged stool strategy. We partner with Siemens, offering a complete integrated Siemens portfolio for design, machining, analysis, and data storage, including retrieval. We partner with 3D Systems for the 3D printing and rapid prototyping, and Steinbachler white and blue light scanners, and Creaform for the rescanning, and that would include aspects for inspection and quality. Now that you've heard a bit about CamLogic, let's move on to today's topic. All right, again, today we're looking at what's new in ST6. There is a whole bunch of updates and additions to the new version of Solid Edge. I kind of picked out a few that made good sense to me. Today we're going to be looking at some PowerPoint presentations as well as actually doing some work right inside of the new version of ST6. So, the goal here is to expose you guys to some new things in ST6, but understand that what I'm going to cover here today are some things that I chose. The new additions to ST6 are not limited to what you see here today. And as always, with every new product release, the team at Siemens always gives us tons of new capability, always adding to our ability to design better. So let's go ahead and start looking at what we're going to have an opportunity to take advantage of in the new version of Solid Edge. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to start off with speaking to a couple of things that the team at Solid Edge added right there on the front end. Let's not focus our attention right away to actually what's going on inside of Solid Edge. We might be able to go ahead and point out a couple of things that is going to kind of happen on the front end for us. And one of those primary things that meant a lot to me when I saw it was the user persona. Now, what this is going to allow us to do is, as soon as we install ST6, we're going to be able to go ahead and select from kind of a little bit of a questionnaire. You can kind of see that screenshot there that is going to allow us to decide how we want Solid Edge to set itself up in order for us to work the way how we want to work inside of the interface. So what this is going to do for us is when we start up Solid Edge ST6 for the first time, you're going to be presented with a dialogue describing the user interface things that are delivered and the differences between them. So you'll be able to pick and choose kind of what you want to do. You can kind of see that, you know, in the screenshot down there, you can see that we can set it for, you know, if we want some assistance, maximum workspace. Now that's actually going to be for a very advanced Solid Edge user that is going to really know the software and is going to maximize their workspace. And then balanced is kind of the default Solid Edge install. Now here's kind of the cool thing about this is that we're going to be able to actually say we're new to Solid Edge, or maybe we primarily work with another CAD software and we're either moving over to Solid Edge or have a multi-CAD environment for the company that we work for. We're going to be able to select, you know, if we're used to SolidWorks, well, we can tell Solid Edge, hey, I'm used to SolidWorks. And what Solid Edge is going to do is it's going to go ahead and kind of morph or help set itself up to lend itself to that SolidWorks user, kind of bridging the gap of transitioning from SolidWorks to Solid Edge, so that can actually lend itself, you know, to SolidWorks users, Inventor users, Pro users. So, you know, the team over at Solid Edge is really taking into consideration that, you know, we really need to be able to take advantage of, you know, abilities to work with Solid Edge in the easiest fashion possible, and to give us the opportunity to kind of set that up or choose how you want that done, I think is a tremendous benefit. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our next slide. You can see that Solid Edge has added a SolidWorks data migrator. So now we have a SolidWorks data migrator it's now added to the list of data migrators that we already have available for us in Solid Edge. You know, the really cool thing about this is you know, obviously data migrators, we got a lot of data. You know, maybe we have a bunch of legacy data that we want to move over to Solid Edge. You know, again, this is another similar aspect where maybe you're a new user or new to Solid Edge. You used to work with SolidWorks. We can bring your data over. And we can do that through a data migrator. So instead of, you know, opening up the files one by one or finding you know, somebody to go in and do that as, like, you know, a little side project, we can just go ahead and have the data migrator run and you know, transfer all that data from SolidWorks to Solid Edge. Also, again, multi-CAD environments. Hey, if you got a whole bunch of SolidWorks data that you got sitting, you know, in the archive directories, bring it on over. Let's go ahead and work with that, and let's move forward with it. Now, something to point out about the SolidWorks data migrator is it is going to capture, you know, history from the SolidWorks data, and it's going to bring it over to Solid Edge. So, you know, those of you who are, you know, kind of working, you know, in a history-based design, you know, kind of method, which is really what SolidWorks has to offer. You know, you concern yourself with history, we can capture that. So moving on, we can go ahead and take a look at the next slide. Now we're talking about the ability. So again, real quick, I just want to point out, we haven't even looked at Solid Edge yet, and we already have all of these cool things that are new capabilities and enhancements to just even help us with kind of getting started and dealing with data from other CAD systems. Now we're talking about, hey, let's go ahead and install multiple versions of Solid Edge on our computer. Now, again, this can really come in handy. You know, this could be something that that we can go in and you know, maybe we're working with some other companies that are working in different versions, but we want to work on another version of Solid Edge. You know, we can go ahead and we can install new versions. So you can see here that there's a couple little illustrations there. On the don't signs or no signs, you can see that you know, this is not intended for, you know, say you want to install ST5 Maintenance Pack 1 and ST5 Maintenance Pack 4. that's not going to get it done for you. What you're going to want to do is install different versions, so ST5 and ST6, okay? And then on the next step of the slide, you can see there that you know, if your interest lies within having different versions of Solid Edge, in other words, you want to run a 32-bit and a 64-bit, that's actually not going to go for you. You're going to want to stay on the same setup, so you would want an ST5 64-bit and an ST6 64-bit. You know, so just a couple things to point out to you, but personally I felt that there was a lot of value in being able to install multiple versions of Solid Edge, you know, and I already gave you a couple examples, so just know that that's going to be a capability that you can take advantage of when ST6 releases. All right, so here's another really cool thing. So now we're going to start looking into actual Solid Edge ST6. But I want to speak to the slide for a minute. You can see now we can record videos, and you know, I think that this could be a great communication tool. I think that it works really well. It's very intuitive, and whether it's inside your company, you know, you're trying to kind of show one of your colleagues, hey, this is how I'm doing this, like, you know, maybe a little bit of instruction, if you will. You know, you can do that, or, you know, sometimes when you're working with other companies, you know, they may be trying to take care of something with your data, and you can just kind of show them, hey, listen, this is how I get this done. Also, you know, even down to the fact of if, you know, you call us here at CamLogic and need some support, you know, you can always, you know, record a quick video, shoot it over to us, and we can kind of see what you're doing. So a lot of different things that you can do when using this record function. So let's go ahead and go into Solid Edge, and I'm just going to record something up really quick. So the first thing I'm going to do is notice down here is where the actual record button is. So when I hit that record button, Solid Edge is going to go ahead and it's going to bring up a nice little record dialog box. And I have some options here, and you know, you can go through them, but what I want to do right now is I'm just going to go ahead and start a recording. Now notice how it sets everything up, and now what I can do is I can come in here and begin doing some modeling. Okay, so now when I go ahead and stop that, you're going to see that it's going to bring up the window and show me my exact recording. And we can just let this run out. It's only a few seconds. All right. So now that we have that video, we can choose to discard it, save it, upload it. If we were to upload it, we can upload it directly to YouTube, like we saw on the slide, which is really nice. So you know, as you can see, you know, we can go ahead and record videos. Now, one thing I want to point out on this record is notice how when it played back my video, it just played back what was happening inside of the 3D model space. Now, notice this area to record. If I go ahead and drop that down, I can do a custom area. I can do the whole Solid Edge application. So if I wanted to show off, you know, where I was going and what commands I was selecting, I would just grab this Solid Edge application, and it would have included the ribbon bars and everything else. And then of course I was in the active document window. That was what the default was set to. So again, a lot of capability, can definitely be something that can be utilized and definitely come in handy moving forward when working with Solid Edge. So again, we can record Solid Edge activity and post that to YouTube. We can save it, email it, whatever we want to do with it. It's just a video that's recorded from within Solid Edge. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at a little bit of surface modeling. Now in ST6, Solid Edge did a lot of updates to how they're handling their surfacing. I chose just kind of one small segment of that just to kind of show off a few different things that would help to tie in and integrate these new surfacing techniques in inside of ST6. So let's go and hop back over to Solid Edge. I don't really need this guy anymore, so I'm going to go and let him go. All right, so now I'm inside of this this handle that goes to you know, like a power tool of sorts. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start working with. You can see I have a sketch that's right inside of my environment. Okay, and it's sketch 1, 2, 3. So what I want to do is I want to start working with this sketch, but I want it to actually become a feature, and I'm going to hop back over to my PowerPoint. I want it to kind of become this raised feature that we see here. All right. So the way I can start doing that is the first thing I need to do is I need to take this sketch, which you can see is just sketched inside of the environment. It's obviously normal to a plane. I want to go ahead and project that onto the front of my handle. So what I need to do is I need to come in here and I'm going to go ahead and project. You can see here we can project and create a curve by projecting a selected curve. Just to point this out real quick, all this stuff you can find it on your surfacing tab. Notice how I use my radial menu, and you're going to see me use my radial menu often throughout my presentations. But just know that everything that I'm doing in here we can find on the curves bar on the surfacing tab, the surfaces bar on the surfacing tab, and modify surfaces bar on the surfacing tab. So to kind of start off with, I need to go ahead and I need to grab the sketch I want to project. All right, and I'm going to accept that. Now I need to come in here and I'm going to grab these single faces and accept that. Once I pick my direction, you're going to notice that that shape is going to project onto the surfaces. All right, so that's going to start by, that's going to get the surface that I need to create started. All right, so now that I have that, I'm going to go back to my radial menu. You can see I can split surfaces as well. So I'm going to select my split surface command, and I'm going to go ahead and hide that sketch, because now what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to grab these two surfaces. All right, and I'm going to go to chain, and I'm going to pick up that projected sketch, because what I want to do is I want to treat it as its own individual surface. All right, so Solid Edge is going to go ahead and split that up for me. And now I can take out that projection line, and notice how I actually have a witness line of the fact that I have a surface here and a surface here. So the next thing that I need to do is I want to combine those surfaces into one single surface. So I'm going to go to my redefine command, and I'm going to pick up that surface and that surface, and I'm going to accept. Okay. Now let's hold the phone here for a minute. I want to point this out. This is one of the newer enhancements in ST6. We have a lot more control when it comes to our edge conditions and how we're handling our surfaces right at the actual surface. So the first thing I want to point out is we do have one single surface, because we went ahead and redefined those two segmented faces and made it a single surface. But notice how Solid Edge recognized everything as curvature continuous. Now, what I will end up wanting, what I want to do is I want to make a bump, if you will, or a protruded kind of shape coming out of that surface, like we saw in the screenshot on the slide. So in order to do that, I want to hop over and make all of these natural. All right. And the reason why we're going to want to make them all natural is because if they were curvature continuous and we were coming in with a raised feature coming off of them, it would give us some problems. Now, setting it to natural is going to allow us to go in and have those regenerate per the surfacing changes of the revision that I'm going to make on this actual surface that I extracted from the existing face of my handle. So we're just going to go ahead and really quickly just finish moving these over to a natural curvature. Okay, now that I have all that in place, I'm going to go ahead and hit my preview. So you can see now that it went ahead, identified the surface. It's all one surface. Now what I want to do is I need to go ahead and put in a sketch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redefine what that surface shape is going to be. All right, so I'm going to come over and hit that sketch step. And what I want to do is I want to go coincident plane, and I'm going to pick up the center plane of my part because I want it to be right on the center of that surface that we've projected, created, and put together. So now that I have that in place, I can go ahead and finish. And notice how it went ahead and put the sketch in right inside of the command bar and choosing the step of the redefine sketch step. All right. So now if I select that sketch and I want to go ahead and modify it, now it's going to bring me over to the sketch. Now if I select that, you can see that I have some points here, or the vertex that I can click and drag and grab. Now what I want to do is I want to come up here and I want to select a local edit, so that way I can work with this shape, and now I can move and drag it into the shape that I want. And what I'm going to do here is, notice we do have a little bit of color change here, so that's just letting us know where we're at as far as the curve is concerned. All right, so now you can see I've kind of created a bump kind of shape that will help to manipulate our surface to include. So when I accept that, you can see that we get to preview the sketch. Everything looks pretty good. We can rotate it around. Yep, that's pretty much what I want to do. But again, the complexity of this is that I want that shape on center to take the shape of all of these curvatures. So when I hit finish, you can see that now this is an actual surfaced, you know, if you want to call it a protrusion, you know, a surfaced feature that is now coming out of my part. So again, very, very powerful surfacing capabilities inside of ST6, and there you go. That gives you some insight as to some of the newer enhancements inside of surfacing. The next thing I'm going to show everybody is something that I think that we have probably as a user base wanted for a really long time, and that's the emboss command in the sheet metal environment. Now this really got me excited because, you know, talking with my customer base, and again I want to mention a lot of the stuff that I chose here today was a result of, you know, my interaction with our customer base here at CamLogic when it comes to Solid Edge, and some of the things that they were hoping to see or they were hoping to do, and so this is one I chose. So we want to take a look at the punch or emboss in sheet metal and part. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and read this right from the slide. So under the dimple command, choose the emboss, pick a flat tab, and then the tool body. OK and escape key. Tab takes the shape of the tool body. Here in this screenshot, you can see that we got kind of a complicated part. So it definitely has a lot of capability. And this is going to lend itself to those people out there that are you know, forming into flat stock or sheet metal, or, you know, any of that kind of activity. So if you're doing any forming, or it technically is deformation. If you're doing any of that, then this is going to be a tremendous help for you. So let's go ahead and hop back over to Solid Edge, and I'm going to go ahead and close this guy out. And this is the example that I decided to pull out for the emboss. Okay, so what I want to do is begin and start by painting a picture. Okay, now the first thing to know about what I did here is that I have two bodies inside of a single part. All right, you see I have a target body, which is the actual sheet metal generated part, or what is going to take on the sheet metal part, and I have this tool body. So if you think about it this way, we could actually kind of design our punch, and then it would almost be just like as if we formed that punch into the material and it went ahead and took the shape of that punch. So pretty cool stuff. We can actually mimic the actual design process and actual manufacturing process, if you will, just by kind of setting it up to where we have a tool body and then we have a target body. Now, the thing I need to point out here is that I went in and created these through the multi-body functionality. So you can see here on the screen that I went ahead and showed that. And we can go in and we can add bodies, and we can set all this stuff up so then that way in a single part file we can go ahead and, like in this case, we have a tool body and a target body. We can set up multiple parts and use them and have them interact with each other right at a single part file, and then we can publish them out. Now, if we were to publish these out, what it would do is it would go in and it would create part copies of each, and those part copies are linked back to this parent document, which is the actual part that we created everything in. And so any changes in this document is automatically going to update all of the published multi-body parts. And you can see here that we can unite them, we can subtract them, we can intersect them, and we can split them, and them being all of the different bodies that we went in and put inside of this single part file. So now that I have all this in place, what I want to do is I want to also show you that right now the target body is active. I can come over here to the tool body, right click, and I can activate that body. All right, and you can see that now I'm actually working with the tool body. And if I was to come back to the target body, I could activate that. Quick right click, activate, guys. All right, and again, now I have my target body active, and now I can select the faces on the target body. Here's another thing I want to point out really quick. Notice how this activity all took place in synchronous. Now, for those of you who are out there using synchronous, I'm sure you're taking advantage of how you can manipulate things and work with things by selecting faces on parts. Those of you who are still using ordered, definitely nothing wrong with ordered. It's not going anywhere, but sometimes synchronous can get some things done for you a little more quickly and easily. And I'm actually going to show you that here as I move through this. Now, all of this stuff is right now inside of the part environment. Everything was modeled up inside of the part environment, and we know that because we can see right up here, it's a .par. If I want to switch over to sheet metal, I can go ahead and I can switch to sheet metal. So let's kick it on over to sheet metal so we can start working with this target body, which is actually the sheet metal part. Now, remember from the slide, we're going to go ahead and choose the emboss command. All right, so I'm going to select emboss. All right, and let's focus on our prompt bar down here. We're going to click on the target body to be embossed. So this is what we want to emboss, is the target body. And then we want to click one or more tool bodies, so we're going to select that tool body. Now, you can see that I went ahead and embossed that shape right into the part. But I want to point out here that we can put in a clearance if we want to. So again, remember what I said about the actual manufacturing process. If we need to go in, we need to throw in some clearance around our punch, we can do that. And then that way, we can take into account the actual forming process. So you know, again, giving you a lot of control and a lot of capability right there at the part. And then, of course, you know, our thickness is placed by default. So let's go ahead and right-click and accept that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck that tool body so we can actually see the emboss, which looks pretty good. Again, this is really simple, but you can see that this will apply to very complicated geometry. As you can see in the slide, and then also if you can model it up, you can go ahead and emboss it into your sheet metal as a form feature. Of course, when it comes to design, we want to respect those manufacturing capabilities as well. So always keep that in mind. So now that I have all that in place, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and show that tool body again, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and kick it back to my part. So if we go back to if we go from the sheet metal to the part, Solid Edge is letting us know that the features added in the part environment may not be properly depicted in a flat pattern. Are you sure you want to go over? Sure I do. All right. So now I'm back in part. I got my embossed feature. I want to go ahead and I want to activate my tool body. And here comes the cool stuff, guys. So now we're going in, we're working with our tool body, and we actually have to go ahead and manipulate that tool. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of a angle on there, and notice how Live Rules is helping me sense my symmetry, and I can go in there and let's put that on 20 degrees. You can see that it kicked it out that way. That wasn't the way I wanted to go, so just quick as easy as grabbing that torus again, and we want it to go inward. All right. So now, if I go back and I make that target body active, I'm going to hide the tool body. Notice how our emboss actually took the shape and automatically updated that feature based on my synchronous edits to the tool body. So, again, synchronous technology can be very, very powerful. It can really help you to do some manipulating and editing. Really good stuff. So, you know, we can go ahead and take advantage of making our tool body in the synchronous environment, throwing in the emboss. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take care of all of our manipulation through synchronous edits, and that emboss is always going to update. So again, we're putting all the tools together to make sure that you know, we keep having newer and more capabilities to design better. So there's emboss. Now, anyone who's out there right now using frame, I think this is going to be very, very exciting for you. Okay, and that's why I chose it. So now we can use the body edges to create frames. So using the single using the single option, a user can select single edges from components. All right, or you can fence select, and it'll allow a user to select all edges, and then once selected, the frame of choice can be created using the selected edges. So let's look at it this way, guys. Anyone who has been using frame or is maybe considering using frame, it's a environment inside of the assembly, and I'll point that all out to you when I shoot over to Solid Edge. But you know, the goal here is that, you know, a lot of times we have to go in and we have to kind of sort out all these dimensions, and we have a pad of paper and we're kind of jotting down, okay, well, I need it to be this long, so I'll generate these frame pieces, and then I need it to be that long, because really what we're doing is we're trying to frame around a space that we're looking to claim. So how cool is it that we can go ahead and just model up some solid geometry, and then we can frame out the edges, and we can decide which edges we want to include or exclude, for that matter. But again, you know, we're kind of claiming the space, and then once we have that in order, we're just modeling up some solid geometry to reflect exactly what we want our frame to result in. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that right here inside of Solid Edge. So now you can see that I got some solid geometry here, and I also went in and showed all my sketches. Now, notice how right now we're at the part level here. So what I can't do is come over and start framing up from the part. All right, but I just want to show you guys that, you know, I'm able to go in and select and model everything up right here in the part, and then throw some sketches on that, so then that way this is going to kind of result in the way how my frame is going to look. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close that down, and I'm going to go and open up the assembly. So now that I'm at my assembly, what I want to do is point out to you first where the frame environment is. So if you're not really familiar with the frame environment, here's where it is. We're inside of our assembly. I have that buggy part that I started off by showing you, just to kind of show you guys that, hey, all I did was model up this shape. I used synchronous technology, but now I brought it over to the assembly environment so I can take advantage of frame. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on frame, and let's go into the frame environment. So now that I'm inside of the frame environment, I can go ahead and start framing some stuff up. So by selecting the frame command, a couple things I want to point out. We do have some options here where we can go in and we can apply the corner treatments. Notice here that I have coping on non-mitered joints. I did select that, and that actually is going to help me out going through setting up this round tubing. Another thing that I want to point out is that I went in and already pre-selected this round tubing. This is what I want to use. We can browse to that, and also Solid Edge loads a bunch of standard frame components that we can utilize right off the bat. So as soon as you load frame, you're going to get some square tubing, some round tubing, some I-beam, some C-channel. That's all going to load automatically. You can make your own. You can use what's there. You can take what's there, and you can go in and manipulate it for what you need. So want to show you the path. It's going to load automatically at your local hard drive under your program files, Solid Edge ST6, and then of course in the frames folder. But in this case, I already had set up and predefined this round tubing, and right now you can see it's on the locate body edges, and I want to come down and grab a body. So by selecting this body, and once I accept, you can see it's going to go ahead and frame it out for me automatically with the round tubing. I mean, guys, that is powerful. When it comes to doing frame, I mean, I'd like to think that this is an answer to all your prayers, because again, you usually have an idea of the space you want to claim. You just got to frame it up in order to, get everything in place. Now, even though I was able to go in and model up a body, let's really think about this. A lot of times there's some things that, the body's not going to include. That's why I have these sketches in here. Okay, and just like we always could with frame, we could go in. I'm going to finish that up. So now what I want to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab some single, and I'm going to begin framing up these sketch entities. So it's just a matter of selecting them. All right, that's just letting me know that it's going to go ahead and cope that up for me the way how I need to right inside of those areas and make sure that everything connects properly. Now, again, I can finish that off, and by grabbing single again, I can grab these other 2 or 4 sketches because I'm wanting to generate all 4 of those cross beams. And now I want to grab chain so I can grab these roll bars. And we're going to generate them. Okay. So actually really not too bad. We were able to frame this thing up pretty quick. We were able to use kind of a mixed approach. We took what we needed to from the body itself, we went in and selected some actual sketches to get us closer to getting all the cross members in that wouldn't actually be part of the body, and then also these roll bars. All right. So now what I want to show you is why I did this in synchronous technology, or I did this using synchronous technology. So I'm here at my assembly level, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a control space bar as a little keyboard shortcut for you, control space bar, and that puts me into a face priority. You can kind of see that I have that blue surface on my cursor. We can also get to it up here. So face priority, part priority. So now that I'm in here, what I want to do is I want to begin manipulating that solid body, and let's check this out. So if I need to go in, do a quick synchronous edit, maybe what I need to do is come in and roll that face outward, or even better yet, maybe it needs to kind of come inward. So we're going to roll that face inward. Notice how Live Rules is picking up my symmetry. It's exactly what I want. I go ahead and accept that, and the frame's going to automatically update based on the changes I made to that solid body. I mean, guys, that is just awesome. To regenerate these frame components like that, and again, you're going to still get all the same capability that you're used to. You're going to be able to go in and do your cut sheet, and it's going to lay everything out and count how many frame components you have, how many of each length you need. You can separate them individually if that's what you need, for doing all of the coping or machining to the end, so they go together and they weld up. Again, you can apply welds at the assembly environment. So this really is a complete framing, environment, and to be able to just model up a solid body that's going to claim your space, generate your framework from it, and then drive your framework from it. I mean, gee. Going back through and doing all that sketch manipulation would take a lot of time and effort. So moving on from the frame environment, I'm going to hop back over to the slide, and that's kind of what I want to show you guys on the frame. I think it's an awesome tradition. It's going to save a lot of people a lot of time, a lot of effort, and doing newer iterations as quick as saving that off as a new file name, and hey, let's do the next frame. Can always use Revision Manager for that as well. All right, something that I want to make sure I touch base on is the Solid Edge SP. Just a little bit of quick background. Last year, Insight XT was released, and it was a great product. And this year, they decided to change the name to Solid Edge SP just to eliminate any confusion. Obviously, Insight has been around for a long time. There's a lot of companies out there using it. It's a great PDM solution based on SharePoint. Solid Edge SP, that's actually what the SP stands for, is SharePoint. So, we also can go in and utilize Solid Edge SP and set that up on the SharePoint platform. But Solid Edge SP has a lot more to offer and to kind of take you to the next step in a PDM solution than what Insight does. So the new name is Solid Edge SP, and I'm going to take a couple minutes just to kind of go over it and maybe take you down the road of what its capabilities are. It is very important that when you're considering managing your data, that you find a good solution to do that, and Solid Edge SP is just tremendous in its capability. So there's 4 key points that kind of lend itself to what advantages Solid Edge SP has, and one is the easy visual approach to managing complex data. 2 is on time, on budget, project completion. 3, faster task completion with fewer errors. And 4, easily integrate design data with key business processes. So let's take a look at each of those, and I have some slides up here. So taking a look at the visual approach to design management, I want you to kind of focus on those screenshots. That kind of gives you a little idea of the visual tools that are available. So looking at the visual tools, that's going to give us an easier understanding of the complex data. Now, a couple things I want to point out is you can kind of see there's a relation browser. Now, one thing to know is that when you actually go into the Solid Edge SP, it's actually through a web user interface. So you can get in there, and through the relation browser, you can go ahead and take a look at, all right, I found my project. I found, you know, what I need to look for, and then in the relation browser, you can kind of see that it almost maps out, okay, this is the assembly. These are all the components in that assembly. Here's a sub-assembly that's in that assembly, and here's all the components in that sub-assembly. So really good at kind of laying that out and showing that to you. And there is a few different ways that you can set up your relation browser in a few different viewing methods that you know, may make a little more sense to you, may make it easier for you to, you know, dig through that stuff. But you know, there is some opportunity to take a look at that data a few different ways. But I mean, this method makes very good sense to me. Also, we can kind of take a look at the properties card. You can see that, you know, once we click on a part, we can view it. We can look at all the data, everything that's kind of, you know, important to that part can and will be included based on, you know, how you're working on things. And then, of course, we can always take advantage of the tremendous search functionality. So you see that's kind of the search dialog box. And again, the goal here is that, you know, we want to look at the big picture, and then we want to easily and quickly drill down into where we need to be in order to figure out what we have to do within that assembly, that project, that task that we're needing to get accomplished. So the next thing I want to show you guys and talk to is the faster project completion. Now, you can kind of see here that we're focusing a little bit more on the workflows. Now, this is something that Solid Edge SP kind of goes above and beyond from the Insight. So we can implement workflows. Yes, they're going to offer you faster and more consistent completion of everyday tasks. And we also have tremendous status reporting when it comes to changes in managing processes and projects, and we can quickly and easily pump out really intuitive, really good reports that's going to go ahead and snapshot, hey, where are we at as a company, everybody? We want to make sure that we keep track of that. Solid Edge SP is going to make sure we keep track of that, and it's going to do that for us. We also, you know, again, by implementing the workflows, that's going to go ahead and that's going to section out, hey, you know, we have these steps in our company's process, cradle to grave. This is what we need to do in order to get through that, and then we're going to report on it. So faster project completion, you betcha. So the last thing that I'm going to kind of mention to you is the flexible task management. So, you know, Solid Edge SP, it also provides out-of-box support for engineering change requests, ECRs, and engineering change orders, and ECOs, and so you know, all that stuff is in there. So the standard workflows are provided for ECOs and ECRs. Excuse me, or users can take advantage of an extensive workflow capability provided by SharePoint to support customer-specific workflow and or industry-regulated processes. Okay, so we have some out-of-box stuff that's going to get you going. It's going to get you rocking and rolling, or you know, we can go ahead and dig into that, lending itself to your company. So. Now let's take a quick look at that pre-configured environment, and what that does for us is I'm gonna kind of lay it out step by step. So for the data site, we have the landing page, and then we have in-house, purchase, sandbox, and documents. Now looking at the tools site, we have the fields of project, carts, change management, search, and the configurations. Now looking at the applications, we're going to be doing the Solid Edge View and Markup and the Structure Editor. And on the web part, we have the content browser and the relationship browser. So the installation of Solid Edge SP is going to result in a pre-configured environment that enables our customers to get into production immediately. Okay, and this is the pre-configured environment. So again, really powerful stuff. Kind of shows you that we've looked at, and Solid Edge has looked at all of the capabilities and what you're going to want to need, and kind of put it in there, package it up. You have some abilities to customize all this stuff, but it's kind of all ready to rock and roll based on the fact that you want to get that PDM in there. Let's get it in there. Let's get going. Let's get managed. So let's not forget about Solid Edge SP. We're actually very knowledgeable on Solid Edge SP here at CamLogic, and we have some tremendous applications engineers that can go ahead and get you sorted out. So if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Like I said, it's a little bit of a newer product, so we wanted to make sure that we understood it very well and could work with it very well. And here at CamLogic, we have definitely accomplished that. So feel free to contact us with any questions, and we can elaborate a little bit more on that. Okay, the next thing I want to speak to is, okay, now we have design, we look at some front-end stuff, we look at some design stuff, some additions right inside of Solid Edge. Now let's look at what do we do with our data once we get over that hump. So all of you that were aware of last year with ST5, there was a Solid Edge mobile viewer app released with the iPad. Now we have that same capability, the Solid Edge mobile viewer that works with the Android tablet. So if you're out there, you got an Android, go to your app store, go ahead and download the Solid Edge mobile viewer, and then you can start opening up your data right there on your Android tablet. And I believe that also works with the Android phones as well, but for sure we have the Android tablet viewer. So now, whether you have iPad, whether you have an Android tablet, doesn't matter. You can have the Solid Edge mobile viewer. Something to kind of tack on to the whole tablet viewing and Solid Edge mobile viewer experience is that now on the iPad and on the Android, we can open up drafts, which is really, really helpful because, again, last year when the mobile viewer was released with ST5, we kind of looked at things in such a way that we're able to review and kind of use that as a tool to speak to stuff. Now that we can open up drawings, obviously we can get a little more technical and maybe use this for a little bit more straightforward activity on your floor and what you need to accomplish every day, keeping that technology in the palm of your hand. So again, many more. All right, I showed you what I chose for Solid Edge ST6 and many more. Okay, there was over 1,300 customer requests satisfied this year with ST6, and I guess that just goes to show you, I'm really excited to be a part of Solid Edge and the Solid Edge team at Siemens and all they do for us as users, and helping us to design better. It really makes me feel good that every year they boast over thousands of customer requests that go into this new version, and truly that's what drives the software. I mean, I think that we're very fortunate to have a company that pays close attention to that, and just wanted to make sure I pointed that out, that what I chose here today is what I chose, and hopefully some of those customers that I felt could benefit from some of the stuff I showed here today tuned in and was able to check out everything that was presented today. So I look forward to hearing from you if you have any further questions, and we can go ahead and address those as they come. So this is just tip of the iceberg for ST6, guys. There's a lot more good stuff in there. So real quick, I just want to talk a little bit about training. Here at CamLogic, we will be offering update training, so make sure you keep your eyes open for that. You know, we can't emphasize enough the importance of training to get the most out of today's technology. You know, we have well documented. It is well documented that that training helps improve speed of use, increases efficiency, provides faster problem resolution, and leads to fewer support calls, all of which positively affect company productivity, return on investment, and the bottom line. So at CamLogic, you know, we offer a wide variety of hands-on, instruction-intensive courses for users at every level. Training is available at the on-site location of your choice or at one of our training labs located throughout the Midwest. For more information or to register, please visit our website. So definitely let us know if there is a need or a want, and we'll make sure that we get you put into one of our classes, or just go to the website, check it out. Again, you know, we will be offering ST6 update training, so you can definitely keep your eyes open for that. So if you saw some things that you really liked here today, we can help to, you know, teach you closely as to how to take advantage of those things. And today's webinar will be found on YouTube, usually within 24 hours of the broadcast. Check out CamLogic on YouTube for past webinars as well. And don't forget, once you get ST6 loaded up, you can upload to YouTube and do your Solid Edge tips and tricks and share them with others if you want to. So, you know, definitely that record capability, I think, will definitely come in handy for a lot of users out there. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or call me at any time. Be sure to visit our website at www.camlogic.com. We can also be found on LinkedIn, Blogger, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This concludes today's edition of the Tech Tuesday. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day.